So the confusion on why are these teams ranked so low getting into the playoffs? Why isn't my team seeded higher? Why isn't my team whatever, right? Or can my team still get in? Answering all of these questions with the college football playoff format for the 2025-2026 season for the 2026 national champion. So here we go. There are some things to consider. So number one, there's 12 seeds. The seeds do not necessarily correlate with the top 12 college football playoff ranking. I'm not saying like if you lived under a rock that you shouldn't know. There's people that I know that are college football fans that are still like, how does this work? Well, if you go to their website, you can figure it out, or you can watch this video. The truth of the matter is, I'm going to tell you, there's no like drama to this. This is just the way it is. And I give you my thoughts afterwards. But right now, let's just explain how it works this year. And it seems to change every year based on the previous year's mistakes. So what are the mistakes going to be this year? I don't know. But right now, keep in mind that the top 5 conference champions get an automatic bid, and then the next 7 highest ranked schools. So if you're thinking about March Madness, these would be what we called at-large bids. Number one is the fact that it's the 5 highest conference champions, no matter whether they're outside the number 12 ranking. So there are teams that are in the number 12 that are not going to make it. And that's, is it crazy? Sure. But it's just the way that they're doing it. So the first team with the highest seed and a conference champion, if the season ended today, which is the 19th to the 20th, depending on when this video comes out and when you watch it. But as of this week, after the rankings came out yesterday, it's going to be Ohio State. They're in the Big Ten. So the Big Ten is leading right now, assuming Ohio State wins and stays ranked number 1. The second team to get in is going to be from another conference. So the next automatic bid goes to the SEC. Right now, the SEC's highest ranked team is Texas A&M, assuming they win the championship. They go to the number 3 seed. I'll help explain later why they didn't go to the number 2 seed. And the next team that gets in is going to be from the Big 12 because Texas Tech is currently ranked number 5. Assuming they win the Big 12 and they end at number 5, they go all the way up to the 5 seed. They don't go to where you think they might go, right? Based on automatic bid. This is not like last year in 2024 for the 2025 championship where it was different. Miami is in the ACC, and if they win the ACC, then they're a 13 seed, right? They go to the number 11 seed because they're the 4th, and the 5th team, which is ranked even farther back than they are right now, it's Tulane, and Tulane is in the American Conference. So the highest ranked team outside of the top 4 conferences is the American Conference, and that's Tulane at number 24. Those are the automatic bids. The automatic bids get placed in the seeding based on their rank. Now, 13 and 24 ranks are going to take away from, you guessed it, the 12th and the 11th ranked team because Indiana is number 2. Now, even though they're an at-large bid, College Football Playoff Committee decided this year they were going to put the seeding in the final College Football Playoff rankings. So Miami and Tulane, the ACC and the American Conference, push out the 11 and 12 team, essentially in this scenario. The next team is Georgia. They're number 4. And then you guessed it, we just fill in the seeds after this. So the 6th seed is Ole Miss, 7th seed is Oregon, 8th seed is Oklahoma, 9th seed is Notre Dame, and the 10th seed is Alabama. And I'm saying the same thing you are, outside of Tulane, that this kind of looks like it's looked all the time. I mean, no matter how you put the teams in a paper bag and shake them up, these teams kind of always come out on top. That's a whole different conversation for a whole different time. But the NCAA and the playoff committee has kind of always felt that way, that the top conferences that get the best recruits, have the most money, have the most viewers, have the most fans, tend to be the best every year. And you still got to play it out, of course, but by and large, outside of Tulane, really even Oklahoma, I mean, lately they have not been that great, but they got a chance this year. So keep it up if you're an Oklahoma fan. Notre Dame, they get in quite a bit. Notre Dame's one of those schools that does not have a conference. They're independent. They're on their own in football. And they if you look at their strength of schedule, Notre Dame does have a decent strength of schedule faced with what they're looking at. I mean, they could be in a conference. I'm sure a lot of conferences would accept them. They've been asked. I won't get into that. There's a lot of history there. But the thing about this scenario right here is that Tulane still kind of has a chance to not make it. I mean, if they win out, they'll probably get in, right? But unless another school would just jump ahead of them. But again, this will change over the coming weeks because some of these teams will play each other, and you'll see this. But this is pretty much how it is right now. And I mean, Ohio State, Texas A&M, Indiana, and Georgia, they could all play each other in the SEC championship and the Big Ten championship, respectively. So how that would make a change, I don't know. Maybe they just kind of flip-flop around. But we'll come back in a week or two and talk about the changes. I hope this makes sense to you. And if there are any questions or mistakes, point them out to me. I always like to know. They're going to just say, hey, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, which some of you do. And hey, that's cool. I can take it. I can dish it too. And then if you have any comments on what you think it's going to be, I personally, I mean, if Indiana and Ohio State go undefeated because they do not play each other in the regular season, one of them is going to have a loss because of the championship game. But what do you think is going to happen if one of these teams doesn't win a regular season game? It's going to drastically change because Ohio State has a tough time playing Michigan every year recently. If they lose to Michigan, that would be 4 years in a row. I can see it happening. I would not. Let me just put it this way. Do I think Ohio State should win this year? Yes. I think Ohio State's team is better than they were last year. But again, Michigan's team is better this year than they were last year. And it's Big Ten football. Can Georgia beat anybody? Absolutely. Georgia, they're inconsistent in some areas, but by and large, they're an awesome team. So can they beat anybody anytime? Absolutely. Do I think Miami and Tulane can beat anybody anytime? I don't. But sure, we'll just go with whatever. How about that? And then you've got other teams that could get in. We talk about that another time, but hope you enjoyed it.